Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 203 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Here's what's coming up in today's show. This week's Y-Files explores a new dinosaur that was discovered in Argentina, and we'll tell you what they found in the mouth of this amazing non-human animal.
In our Noteworthy segment, Marineland in Ontario, Canada, claims that it will have to euthanize 30 of its beluga whales if they don't receive funding to care for them.
And in our main topic, we're going back to Syracuse for the very first Vegtoberfest.
Yes, indeed we are.
Yes. But before we get into all that, we wanted to take a moment to remember and honor Jane Goodall, who passed away October 1st at the age of 91. She tirelessly dedicated her life to protect not only animals in the wild, but farm animals as well, as she ultimately became fully vegan after years of being a vegetarian.
Thank you, Jane, for all you have done for the animals and for the vegan movement as a whole. You will be deeply missed. Advocates like you don't come around every day.
They certainly don't. She will definitely be missed.
Yes, she will.
Hey, guess what?
Hey, what?
We have a recipe this week.
That's so awesome.
Here's this week's recipe. This week, I made from Nora Cooks. And if you're not familiar with Nora Cooks, but she has a really great food blog, I made Nora Cook's vegan apple cake because we had an excessive amount.
So many apples.
Yeah, we had an excessive amount of apples. So I made this one bowl vegan apple cake and it turned out fantastically.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really, really wonderful. Like,
I loved
absolutely
it.
fantastic. And when Christine told me that she was able to do it in one bowl.
I mean, you do, really it's
Like,
two because
crazy.
when you slice and dice the apples, I put those in a separate bowl. So technically it's two bowls, but really the cake is all mixed in one bowl.
Yeah, and it was really wonderful. So I think that was Friday that you made the cake.
Yeah.
And so Friday, we had, after dinner, we had a little piece of apple cake with a tiny bit of salted caramel ice cream, and we put some chopped nuts on top and a little bit of whipped cream. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, so I sent a picture to Sam while she was at work. I'm like, I made an apple cake. And when she comes home, she has like this whole bag of accoutrement. Mm-hmm. She's like, if we're going to have apple cake, we're having apple cake.
That's right. If we're going to have cake, we're having cake. Like, we're not just going to, like, kind of have cake. We're going to have cake.
Yeah. But it's a very simple recipe, and I'm going to link to it in the show notes so you can make it yourself. And it turned out, it's so moist and delicious, and I actually cut back on the sugar, which you can do. Mm-hmm. She actually says on her blog that you can cut back on the sugar, and I did. And it was still plenty of sweet because of, the sweetness from the apples.
Yeah.
And super moist.
Super moist.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really glad that you cut back on the sugar because it's plenty sweet.
Yeah.
Without more sugar.
Yeah.
So I think you made the right choice.
Well, then you make this caramel sauce to pour on top, and I'm like, that's sugar. So I'm cutting the sugar in the cake because it doesn't really need all that sugar. Mm-hmm. And it turned out just perfectly. So
yeah, it really was just fantastic.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was very fall-like, too, and the whole house smelled like fall.
It was super autumnal. Now, I noticed a good chunk of the cake disappeared today.
Oh, I put half of it in the freezer.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah.
So smart.
So we can have it at a later date.
I love that.
And that we're not eating an entire cake.
I think that makes incredibly good sense.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, let's move on now to this week's Y-Files. So this comes to us from NBC News, of all places. New dinosaur from Argentina discovered with a crocodile bone in its mouth.
No kidding.
Yeah. The find is from a mysterious group of dinosaurs called Megaraptorans, which were known for their stretched out skulls and huge, very powerful claws. So scientists have discovered a new dinosaur from Argentina with powerful claws feasting on an ancient crocodile bone. The new find was possibly 23 feet long and hailed from a mysterious group of dinosaurs called Megaraptorans. They prowled across what is now South America, Australia, and parts of Asia, splitting off into different species over millions of years. Megaraptorans were known for their stretched-out skulls and huge, very powerful claws, said Lucio Ibiracu with the Patagonian Institute of Geology and Paleontology, who was part of the discovery team. But it's not yet clear how these creatures hunted and where they fall on the evolutionary timeline, mainly because the fossils recovered were so far incomplete. In a new study, researchers said they uncovered part of a skull as well as arm, leg, and tail bones from the Lago Colaway Wapi Rock Formation in Patagonia. They noticed unique features in the bones that made them realize this could be a new species. This latest member of the Megaraptoran clan, named Joaquin Raptor Casali, fills a major gap by providing one of the most complete skeletons yet. The creature likely lived between 66 and 70 million years ago, close to the time dinosaurs went extinct, and was at least 19 years old when it died, though scientists don't know what killed it. The front leg bone pressed against its jaws, belonging to an ancient relative of crocodiles, could yield some clues to its diet and whether it was the top predator on the humid prehistoric floodplains. Ibiracu named the new dinosaur in memory of his son Joaquin. While Joaquin was very young and hadn't yet developed a fascination with dinosaurs, Ibiracu still thinks he would have appreciated being named after one. All children love dinosaurs, so he would probably be a fan too, he said. So this is really cool.
It is really cool.
I've always been fascinated by dinosaurs. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I just think
I enjoy dinosaurs.
They're just so amazing.
They are.
And to imagine, I think that's what it is. They kind of capture your imagination. You imagine what the world was like when they were running around, because they're just so big.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
And I don't know. It just really fascinates me.
Yeah.
So yeah, a new species of dinosaur. And apparently he eats ancient crocodiles.
Apparently. So this was apparently a carnivore.
Yeah. It seems that way.
This was not a vegan dinosaur.
Yeah, no. He's kind of like picture, like the raptors in Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm. He's like that, only 100 times bigger.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's kind of scary.
Yes. Because we're talking, something that is at least 19. Sorry. No.
I think he said 23 feet.
At least 23 feet?
Yeah.
Wow. That's very, very large.
Very large animal.
Yes.
Yeah. So really cool. I just thought it was a fun story and I thought I wanted to share it.
And I'm glad you did.
Let's move on to our noteworthy segment.
Yes, this is coming to us from CBC News. Marineland says its 30 belugas may have to be euthanized. How would that even happen? Euthanizing healthy belugas comes with a host of moral and logistical hurdles, experts say. If you can't leave them, sell them, or send them to a sanctuary, what do you do? While Marineland doesn't have any current plans to euthanize the 30 belugas swimming around what's left of the Niagara Falls amusement park, the company threatened to do so last week in a letter to Canada's Federal Fisheries Minister, Joanne Thompson, which was obtained by CBC News. The park would be faced with the devastating decision of euthanasia unless the federal government could provide them financial support, Marineland said in a letter. The message came days after the minister denied Marineland's request for permits to send the whales to Chimelong Ocean Kingdom, a theme park in China which was interested in buying the mammals. The government said it aimed to prevent the whales from being used for entertainment purposes. So far, Marineland hasn't been able to find a suitable sanctuary or other facility to house the whales. Owners of the theme park said in a report that a proposed Nova Scotia sanctuary is too polluted and isn't on track to being developed soon enough. Marine mammal experts say that if the threat to euthanize the belugas became a reality, the option would come with a host of logistical and moral issues. For animals like the ones at Marineland who are used to being examined by vets, euthanasia is usually a two-step process, says veterinarian and marine biologist Chris Harvey-Clark. First, vets would have to give the whales a sedative to make sure they don't feel any pain during the process, and then administer a drug that would end their life. That's kind of the gold standard method for euthanasia, said Harvey Clark, who is also affiliated with the Whale Sanctuary Project in Nova Scotia in a consulting role. But the life-ending drug used tends to be a barbiturate, Harvey Clark says, which poses other problems once the procedure is done. The drugs could leach into groundwater if the animals are buried, or could kill scavenging animals that make a meal of the whales if they were left to decompose. And with 30 whales in total, each weighing between 1 and 2 tons, that leaves a lot of whale to dispose of. Andrew Treitz, director of the Marine Mammal Research Unit at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, adds that whales are in many cases considered too big to be cremated, making that method of disposal difficult as well. And because they've spent their lives in captivity, Treitz says the whales wouldn't know how to hunt for food, so releasing them into the wild isn't an option. Treitz and Harvey Clark both warn that there's a host of ethical obstacles to potentially euthanizing the whales, too. Euthanasia is an option vets tend to feel morally okay with when an animal is suffering, and the end of their life is near, said Harvey Clark. In cases where death isn't imminent, he says the moral choice isn't as straightforward. You really need to look at the welfare of the animal, what its life is looking like, and what its future is going to look like, and from that make an intelligent decision about whether that animal should be humanely euthanized or whether there's another pathway. Beyond that, belugas are highly social and skilled at communicating with one another, allowing them to form close bonds with other whales. Harvey Clark says the loss of the whales one by one would presumably be something the belugas would pick up on, which could cause harm before they're ultimately killed. They're certainly aware enough to understand the environment they're in is changing really rapidly, and that would be really stressful. Treitz adds that because animals are usually euthanized when they're sick, there might be some experimentation when it comes to the exact dosage the whales should be receiving in order to euthanize them, too. None of these euthanasia processes seems like something that I or anybody I know would want to be involved in. He says he hopes the threat never materializes and that the whales can find a home where they can live good lives and contribute to further research of belugas, which are facing mounting challenges due to climate change. But ultimately, that threat can become a reality if nobody moves any of their pieces on this chessboard.
This is just terrible. I mean, we all wanted Marineland to close.
Yes.
Now that Marineland is closed, we're dealing with the after effects of that, right?
Most certainly.
Why do they need so many beluga whales?
I don't know.
And I know even more than 30 beluga whales have died while they were in captivity there at Marineland.
Right.
I don't know if they're easy to capture. I don't know. I really don't know if maybe they thought they were a big draw, the belugas, because they're very personable.
Oh, yes, they are.
And what humans might consider cute.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Have you ever seen the face of a beluga up close?
Yeah, they're adorable.
They're adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another article that came out by CBC that explains a little more about why Marineland doesn't want to send these whales to Nova Scotia's whale sanctuary project.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Ontario theme park says that the proposed Nova Scotia sanctuary has a total lack of proven financial viability. Marineland says it has more than a dozen reasons why none of its remaining 30 belugas should be sent to a proposed whale sanctuary in Nova Scotia. The shuttered Ontario theme park, which is trying to sell the whales to avoid bankruptcy, made headlines last week when Federal Fisheries Minister Joanne Thompson denied Marineland's request for a permit to ship Canada's last captive whales to buyers at an aquarium in China. Marineland responded by saying it doesn't have the money to continue feeding the whales and asked for emergency funding from Ottawa, warning that it might otherwise have no choice but to euthanize the snow white mammals. Thompson has said she would love to see the whales in a sanctuary, but Marineland has argued that no such sanctuary is currently available for 30 belugas, including the Whale Sanctuary Project's proposed coastal refuge near Wine Harbor, Nova Scotia. The owners of the theme park in Niagara Falls, Ontario, have released a report alleging the site in eastern Nova Scotia is too polluted and has seen no development since plans for its construction were unveiled in 2020. Marineland is of the view that serious environmental issues that remain unresolved, along with a total lack of proven financial viability, precludes any further consideration of the WSP as an appropriate site, the report says. Based on the apparent lack of progress to date, it is not possible to estimate any date by which the WSP facility may be capable of receiving cetaceans. Charles Vinnick, CEO of the Whale Sanctuary Project, said Tuesday that Marineland raised these same allegations in a detailed study released in 2021. We have completed all of the environmental analysis of the site, both on land and in the water, that are required by the government, Vinnick said in an interview, adding that a 40-hectare floating net enclosure could eventually hold 8 to 10 belugas. In response to Marineland's complaint about waste left behind from gold mining in the area that ended in the 1930s, Vinnick said a mitigation plan aimed at capping tailing dumps with gravel and concrete has already been approved, and water sampling has shown no contamination. On another front, Marineland says WSP hasn't done enough to deal with toxic arsenic found in the soil at the bottom of the bay where the underwater refuge will be built. Vinnick said experts have told WSP that the arsenic remains locked in the soil and that it not be disturbed. There's been some restrictions on certain shellfish fishing, Vinnick said, but lobstering and other fishing goes on all the time in this area, and all of the catches have been inspected for years, and no issues have been found. As for the project's finances, Vinnick said his U.S.-based nonprofit organization continues to raise funds from private donors, and the group has said it will not be seeking government funding for the $20 million project. We do not have all of the funds today, Vinnick said, but we're seeing tremendous outreach from the public, from other organizations, and from people who want to help these specific animals. To be sure, the Whale Sanctuary Project will not be offering Marineland any money for the belugas. He said, "We don't believe that the buying and selling of whales is something that should continue, and we are not in a position, either philosophically or financially, to consider that." Meanwhile, the project remains stalled because it is facing opposition from a small group of local landowners whose unanimous consent is required to allow the sanctuary to proceed. Until that happens, Nova Scotia's Natural Resources Minister, Tory Rushton, has said he will not grant the WSP a crown lease for 81 hectares of land and water. Emails obtained by the Canadian press through Freedom of Information laws indicate that some landowners were worried about losing access to the water once nets are installed. Others complained about increased traffic because WSP had planned to build an education center nearby, but Vinnick's team has since scrapped that idea. And even if the reluctant landowners change their minds, the project will also require approval from Transport Canada under the Canadian Navigable Waters Act, as well as permits from the Federal Fisheries Department for the transfer of the whales. In January of this year, the French government rejected WSP's bid to provide refuge to 2 killer whales residing at Marineland Antibes in the south of France. Under French law, the country's last 2 captive performing orcas, Wiki and Kaijo, must be removed from France by the end of this year. French officials said the Nova Scotia sanctuary wouldn't be ready in time, and they worried about ocean temperatures off the province's east coast. According to figures compiled by the Canadian press, 19 belugas, 1 killer whale, and 1 dolphin have died at Marineland since late 2019, but the company has long defended its treatment of animals, saying the deaths were part of the natural cycle of life.
I do appreciate that the Minister of Fisheries in Canada is not allowing them to sell these whales to that place in China.
Yes, I appreciate that as well.
That's only going to continue to exploit them in the same way that Marineland exploited them.
Indeed.
And I wonder if Marineland is now just continuing to use these whales to gain money by putting out that plea.
Well, I mean, I think at this point, right now, Marineland, of course, is bearing the cost of feeding and
I understand
housing the whales.
Yeah, I understand that.
Marineland is closed, so there's no longer ticket prices supporting those activities. So I don't know. I mean, obviously they are looking for a way to continue to maintain the belugas, but it seems very clear that they don't have the resources to do that.
I wonder if they can't just raise the funds to release these whales. I understand that they've been raised in captivity and maybe can't figure out how to hunt on their own, but I would say give them an opportunity to live free.
Well, see, I agree with that in theory, but in practice, I mean,
do we know?
Would you feel the same about taking one of our house cats who has never been outside and forcing them into a life in the wild?
If the other choice was euthanasia, I might,
I just don't know. I mean, it would be one thing. I mean, sure, it's not that we're releasing one whale. It's essentially a pod.
It's a pod
of 30, and that is substantial. But if they have, if there's not a single whale in that pod who has any experience of living in the wild, I think it's just a death sentence.
I'm not sure that it is, though. I don't know if there's any research out there about reintroducing captive belugas, into the wild. I don't know that.
I don't know either.
But they're highly communicative, right?
Yes.
So if they release them in an area where there's other belugas, I'm convinced that they're intelligent enough to learn how to fish.
I don't doubt that they're intelligent enough to learn. Not at all. I'm just saying that kind of, if you're used to being in captivity, and then all of a sudden you have the whole of the world's oceans in front of you, might be a little overwhelming.
Could be, or it could be like the greatest day of their life,
That's right. And unfortunately, we don't have a clear picture into the mind of a beluga.
Yeah, we don't.
And what they would feel about that.
Yeah.
I do agree that the issue of, perhaps euthanizing the whales one by one, I absolutely think that would be problematic. And I do think that the whales would figure out something is going on, and it would be incredible stress.
Yeah, great stress to the rest of the pod if they start disappearing like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I do agree that this is a really complicated situation.
It is.
And there does not seem to be a simple solution.
There is no simple solution. The solution, of course, would be to not have places like this to begin with.
Well,
but now that we have places like Marineland and other places around the world, and we're trying to phase out these places, there has to be a plan in place to care for these animals.
Right. And so is that perhaps a flaw in how this was carried out?
Yeah.
That, okay, Marineland was shut down. Woohoo, victory.
Yeah.
Love that.
Right.
But without the consideration of what happens to the animals.
Right.
I mean, I think we could make a similar argument for we all want to see factory farming come to an end.
Right. But then what happens to
but if that were to happen tomorrow, if there was to be a law that says, all the CAFOs, they're shutting down tomorrow, what then happens to all of the cows, all of the chickens, the pigs, the sheep that are in that system?
Yeah.
Because if there's no plan,
they're probably going to perish.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, I think this is a really complicated question. Yeah. And yes, of course, I'm thrilled that, Marineland is no longer in operation.
Yeah.
But I also am deeply concerned for the welfare of this pod of belugas.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they may just become victims of the system and maybe the last victims of that system, which is a sad thing
it most certainly is
to imagine. But it would take a lot of money to put these animals into sanctuary.
Well, yes. And apparently the bigger problem is that there isn't an appropriate sanctuary for them.
Yeah.
That sanctuary does not exist.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of whales.
It is.
They take up a lot of space.
It is.
They're big. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is why I say, if they're going to euthanize them, why not just give them an opportunity to swim free?
It's an interesting thought. I mean,
even that I know would cost a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
To transport them because they're in Ontario.
Yes.
Which is not very close to an ocean that these animals natively come from.
Correct.
So that also is going to would take a ton of funds.
Yeah. So really, this is I think a good, almost a cautionary tale in a way, because I think as these exploitative systems do start to crumble, and I do believe that they all will eventually.
Yeah.
But as these systems start to crumble, what is going to be done for the victims of those systems?
Yeah, what's the plan?
Wait, what's the plan? How will they be cared for, or how will they be sustained?
Yeah.
Once the system is no longer in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel bad for these poor belugas.
I do too.
And for any of the other animals that are still being held captive there at Marineland or at any place like this.
Yep. Me too.
This is terrible. I hope they can come up with a good solution.
I hope so too. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, we will definitely keep an eye on this story. Let's move on to our main topic. This week's main topic, that's right, we're bringing you back to Syracuse for the very first ever Vegtoberfest.
So yes, we spent Saturday at the very first Syracuse Vegtoberfest, which was held at Harvey's Garden in Syracuse, New York. And this was a free event.
It was.
A family-friendly event.
Yep, brought to you by the Syracuse Veg Collective.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And it was really just a wonderful day.
Yeah, so Harvey's Garden is it's a beer garden. So perfect for an Oktoberfest kind of situation. And we had a lot of vendors on the outside. They have this area behind Harvey's Garden where we were all like in a circle. Then they have like a big canopied area outside also. And they had a musician playing, Mary Nixon, her name was. And that was fun, having live music
it was great.
all day long. And then inside Harvey's Garden, they have a pizza shop and their apparently famous beer wall.
Yes.
And now Sam doesn't drink beer.
I do not.
She doesn't really drink alcohol of any kind.
I do not.
But I was pretty amazed by the beer wall, because how the beer wall works is you give them a credit card and then they take the information and they give you back like this card of theirs. And then on this wall is a series of taps, maybe 20, 25
Yeah, that sounds about
different
right.
beers. And you just slide your little card that they give you in front of whichever tap you want to try. And as you're pouring, you can see the dollar amount go up. It's really kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
And then you just put it on that card. And at the end of the night, you put your card in a box and they close you out. It's like a tab card.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And they had several amazing beers. And then somebody from the Veg Collective, I think it was David, because he had this moment where he's like, wait a minute, are all these beers vegan? Because we didn't even consider that.
No, we didn't.
He spent a good hour researching every beer on the beer wall and then putting a piece of tape with vegan above the ones that were vegan. And thankfully, almost all of them, I think there was one or two that maybe the milk stout or something like that wasn't vegan. But the majority of them did turn out to be vegan.
That's great.
Yeah. What kind of food did we get when we were at Vegtoberfest?
Well, first of all, I want to ask you if there was any particular beer that stood out for you.
I only drank one beer and I can't remember the name of it. I should have wrote it down because I told a very knowledgeable young man behind the counter. He knew everything about each and every one of the beers. And I told him, I said, I'm vending. I don't want anything with, high alcohol content.
Right.
But I do prefer like darker beers. So it was like it was like a dark English ale, but I don't remember the actual brewery that it came from.
Okay.
It was delicious and very low alcohol. So I could have, 2 or 3 of them and it didn't make me drunk.
And you were also drinking it out of your very cute Vegtoberfest commemorative mug.
Yes, they had commemorative beer steins branded with the Vegtoberfest logo, which was very cool. So you got your beer stein. And so all of the proceeds from Vegtoberfest were being donated to Briarwood Animal Sanctuary.
Gotta love that.
Which is fantastic.
Indeed it is.
Including the money they made from the commemorative beer steins.
Yes. So to answer your question about food, I was absolutely thrilled with the food that I had at Vegtoberfest.
Me too.
So I started off with some absolutely amazing spicy noodle soup from Vietnamese Noodle House. This was phenomenal. And I was so glad that they had a noodle soup because I'd been craving soup for like 2 weeks.
It's so true. On our way there, Sam was like, I hope somebody has a soup.
Because also it was kind of a cool day. There was just a little bit of chill in the air.
Yeah, it was a crisp day.
It was perfect. And so I was just absolutely thrilled that they were doing 2 versions of their soup. And I, like I said, got the spicy noodle soup, which was a lemongrass and chili broth with rice noodles and bok choy and broccoli and carrots and bean sprouts and all kinds of wonderful things.
It was a beautiful looking soup.
It was a gorgeous soup.
Yeah, I had a little sip of the broth. It was fantastic.
Yes, it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Hit the spot and just so filling and so satiating. Like it was really just phenomenal. And so I am a big fan now of Vietnamese Noodle House, and I really hope that I get to experience their food again in the not too distant future.
Yeah, we want to go to their actual brick and mortar.
Yeah,
and
we would really love to
have a meal because everybody raves about their food.
Yeah, but it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
and just perfect for the day.
My first food of the day, I went full on Vegtoberfest.
Yeah, you did.
And went over to Fat Cat Baking. Our friends, Megan and Alex over there at Fat Cat Baking were cooking up, they were grilling up some vegan brats. So I got myself a vegan brat on a nice bun with sauerkraut and then a little sprinkle of potato chips on top.
Oh, that's, yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Yes. So I hoovered that down.
Yes, you did. Yes, I observed the hoovering. It was definitely quick.
Well, it was the first, we hadn't eaten. It was the first thing. It was the first thing I had.
Yeah, so it's 2:00 in the afternoon and we hadn't had any food yet, so we were both pretty hungry.
Yeah, that was dumb. We should have eaten a little something.
It would have been smart, but you know.
But it just made the brat taste all that much better.
And it made the soup so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So we had our initial food early in the day, like pretty much right when Vegtoberfest got going, around 2:00. And we didn't eat again until things were winding down.
Yeah, I don't know. We were just busy and enjoying the day.
And so it just didn't occur to us to, eat throughout the day.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, we still have teardown to do. There's another hour in the event left to go.
Yeah.
And then if we don't have a second meal, like we're going to be trying to fall asleep and our stomachs are going to be grumbling. And we should eat something.
Yes, we don't want that.
Yes. And so I went up to inside Harvey's and went to Toss and Fire Pizza.
Yeah, they have a wood-fired pizza place in there.
Wood-fired pizza place.
Yeah.
And got their vegan cheeky monkey.
Yeah, why did they call it Cheeky Monkey?
Not sure. Really don't know. But it's the vegan version of their cheeky monkey pizza.
Yeah.
And so this was a hand-tossed pizza crust with some vegan mozzarella, spinach, and fresh tomatoes on a spicy tomato oil. It didn't actually have a sauce, but it had a tomato oil base, which was really, really interesting. I loved it.
It was really good, and it was spicy.
Yes, it was spicy.
Yeah.
But it was a really, really great way to kind of end the day in terms of food. We split one of their pizzas, and so we each had 3 pieces, and it was very, very good, very satisfying.
It hit the spot.
It really hit the spot.
Yeah.
Again, kind of a cool day.
Yeah.
End of the day, pizza just tasted really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. We did though follow Sam's advice, and you got a bunch of baked goods right from the get-go, right?
Oh, of course. Absolutely essential. And so this time around, all of our baked goods came from Aurora's Cafe.
Yeah.
And we still have a number of those baked goods still to be consumed.
I ate one of the cookies today.
Oh, you ate your monster cookie today?
It was, I don't know what was in that cookie. It had like
everything.
Vegan M&Ms and chocolate chips and caramel, and it was good.
It was good?
Yes.
Okay, so I have not eaten my monster cookie yet, so I have that to look forward to.
You do.
But the first item that we got from Aurora's that we ate on Sunday afternoon when we got home were the pumpkin sugar cookies.
Those were really good.
They were just delightful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Nice
Spicy.
and fluffy, a little bit spicy.
Yeah.
Nice little granulated sugar on the top. They were just absolutely delightful.
They were very autumnal.
They were super autumnal.
Perfect autumn. Like if you had like a hot cider with it, it would have been like exquisite.
Yeah. Absolutely. Also, very autumnal and absolutely wonderful were her gluten-free pumpkin crumb muffins. So I had my pumpkin crumb muffin yesterday, and it really was delightful. So that was fantastic. And we still have left the apple fritters.
I tried a little piece of the apple fritter, not last night, but the night before. And it was very good, but I stopped myself from eating the entire thing.
Okay. And besides, that's something you would want to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Fritter.
I just wanted to taste a little bit of it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to like
We're gonna have to warm
it up a little bit because that'd be really good with some coffee.
Yeah. So we are still looking forward to that. And I'm very much looking forward to the monster cookie. I'll probably have that tonight.
Yeah.
But so we did get our baked goods. And we also got some other foodstuffs from other vendors.
Didn't you get some candy?
So yes, I did pick up some truffles from Sweet on Chocolate. And they were selling, of course, all vegan chocolates at this event. I have not tried the truffles yet, but I bought 6 boxes of their truffles, little packs of 4 truffles to give out to my my immediate colleagues.
But you haven't tried them?
I have not tried them yet.
Ooh.
Yeah. And each box of truffles came with a mint truffle, a raspberry truffle, a peanut butter truffle, and a dark chocolate truffle. Now, I did, however, get to sample a little bit of their chocolate bark. They had a cranberry cashew bark there that I sampled. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So the quality of the chocolate was really, really good. It was nice and dark, really rich. Loved it.
Yeah. On their Instagram, it says they're Syracuse's premier chocolatier. And they make handcrafted artisan chocolates. And they ship too. So if you would like to try some of their chocolates, I don't think they're fully vegan, but they do have vegan offerings. If you go to their website, which is sweetonchocolate.com/shop, you can get some and try it for yourself.
And there you go.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we also picked up some pasta.
Yes, we did.
From Flower City Pasta.
Flower City Pasta. Yeah. All these amazing handmade pastas.
Yes. So we got some of their lemon saffron linguine.
Yes.
Which I am very much looking forward to trying. I can just see that.
Yes.
Piled with vegetables. And then we got a garlic and basil fettuccine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are super looking forward to diving into those.
Yes. So many great vendors. There wasn't a huge ton of food vendors, which in a way was kind of nice because we didn't feel pressured to try all the food.
That's true. It did take a little bit of the pressure off.
Yeah.
Not feeling like you had to, support everybody.
Yeah. But there was bookseller, 11 Libros Bookshop. There were plenty of people selling arts and crafts. There were non-for-profits there. Front Porch Collective was there.
People for Animal Rights.
Yeah, People for Animal Rights.
Second Chance Canine Adoption Shelter. It was so awesome. They were walking some of their dogs around all day, which was great. Of course, once again, I got to meet lots of doggos, and so therefore I consider the fest a success.
We were posted up right next to Quillen's Crafts tent.
Yes,
which is always a good time. Quillen is a Syracuse artist and vegan activist, and he is amazingly talented.
Yes, he is.
Oh, we also got some cheese from Spirit in Abundance.
Yep, couldn't not do that because...
And some mustard, homemade mustard.
And some homemade mustard.
And we left it at our friends there in Syracuse, which we said we would probably do when we put it in the refrigerator. We said, we'll probably forget that, and we did. We forgot it, so I told them just to consider it a hosting gift. Mm-hmm. So I hope they enjoy that.
But we did bring home from Spirit and Abundance some of Allie's maple walnuts.
Oh, yeah.
Which we have not broken into yet.
No, we have not. These candied walnuts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, looking forward to trying those.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was a great event for a first-time organized event.
It really was. It was really well attended. Yeah. It was just a lot of fun. It was a really great day, and it was a beautiful day.
It was.
My favorite part of the day, though, I have to admit, was watching Christine walking around in her lederhosen t-shirt.
Yeah, it looked like a complete dork. But...
It was so amazing. And it made me realize how much I admire Christine for being oh so willing to look absolutely ridiculous in the effort to make people smile.
Yeah, I like making people smile. On our way there, we had to stop at a rest stop, and I'm walking through this rest stop, and Sam just keeps looking back at me and laughing.
Right, because, you know, I could see people kind of like smirking as she goes by, and, you know, Christine just no shame. It just making her way through the rest area. It was amazing. It was just absolutely amazing, and I loved that so much.
And there were some other people wearing dirndls.
Yes.
Which is the
skirt.
Yes, it's the traditional
German skirt
and top with like the little vest, and I can't pull that look off, so I went with the fake lederhosen. And it was a good time. It was such a good time. And then I hosted a German trivia,
like an Oktoberfest
trivia contest, which was a blast. And Sam hosted
a German spelling bee.
A German spelling bee. Well, when I did the trivia, I was using the musician's microphone so everybody could hear me. Well, the musician had to pack up before Sam got an opportunity to do the spelling bee.
Yes, indeed.
And so Sam, from where I was standing, it was just Sam running around yelling German words at people. It was so hysterical. She's just bouncing around yelling German words at people.
And it was so much fun and so funny because, of course, you know, we announced that we're having this German spelling bee and a bunch of people come and they pick up, you know, the answer sheets and all of that.
Yeah.
But then they spread out all over the place. And I'm like, okay, so not only do I need to yell, which is fine. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But I have to like run around and yell at different groups of people. And so it really did feel chaotic and funny. But I have to say, I was really, really pleased because the two people who won the spelling bee, one had majored in German in college, and the other was a German professor.
Yeah, they kind of had an advantage.
They did, but they both came to me and told me that my pronunciation was good.
That's great.
And so I was so psyched. Like, that was my biggest win of the day, is that my German pronunciation was passable.
Yeah.
Because I am a novice where it comes to the German language. And so it was just really, really cool to know that I had gotten things right.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So there were so many fun things for people to do. There were games. There was like cornhole, and kids are playing cornhole, and they had a couple of other like lawn games going on. It was just a fabulous, fabulous day.
It really was.
Yeah.
And so we want to say huge thanks to all of the members of the Syracuse Veg Collective for putting this together, to the Vegan Living Program and People for Animal Rights for sponsoring the event. It really was just wonderful. And I know we are looking forward to next
year.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to amassing a collection of commemorative Vegtoberfest mugs.
Well, okay then. That's absolutely fine. You'll have to get rid of some other glassware in order to make room.
I'll have to make room for them, but I want my commemorative Vegtoberfest Stein collection.
All right.
You know?
I have no objection.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times.
It really was.
Good times.
And then, of course, we have to mention...
What's that?
We were fortunate to stay with our dear friends, the Capellos, on Saturday night, and we just want to thank them for their generosity in allowing us to stay with them.
And Quillen, thank you so much for always letting us crash on your couch.
It's just...
We're not on their couch. They have have a guest room, but...
But yeah, it's the hypothetical couch.
Yes.
No, that's not the word I wanted.
Metaphorical?
Yes.
Yes, it's the metaphorical.
It's the metaphorical couch. There we go.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But also, of course, on Sunday morning when we were leaving Syracuse, we had to make a stop at our...
You know what's coming.
Favorite Syracuse eatery, and that is Nice Biscuit.
Nice Biscuit for a breakfast sandwich, baby.
Gotta do it.
You can't leave Syracuse without stopping there first.
You really can't. Now, we don't have to say too much about this because we both had our regular. Christine had the Rambler with dang sauce, and I had the Trailblazer with dang sauce, pepper jack cheese, and jalapenos.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard us just
rave
about
Nice Biscuit.
Yeah. And anytime I make posts about Nice Biscuit, people are always just like, it's the best. Oh my God.
They are the best.
I wish there was one near me. And, and we do too.
Yes. But I tried something new at Nice Biscuit, and I really feel the need to say something about this because it was the single most incredible coffee beverage I have ever had.
Yes.
And this was their chocolate pistachio cold brew.
Yeah.
I have, this to me was about as life-changing as your burger at Cloak and Dagger. Yes.
It was a life-changing
It
cold
really
brew.
was. Now, I know that I can't do a lot of caffeine. It makes me wacky.
Yeah.
It really does. But I was feeling quite tired on Sunday morning, and so I decided to just, brave it. And I'm so glad I did, because it was just, the flavor was so light but rich and nutty and earthy all at the same time. It was gorgeous. So whoever at Nice Biscuit came up with the chocolate pistachio cold brew, you are a genius.
And it was really pretty to look at.
It was
too.
so pretty to look at, and it was just unbelievably delicious. So thank you for that life-changing coffee experience.
Yeah, and I always just get a large regular coffee with oat milk or whatever, and I don't know what roaster they use, but their coffee is really good.
Just fantastic as always.
Yeah.
We always love going to Syracuse and are looking forward to the next trip.
Yep, thank you to everybody in the queues. It's time now for our assignment restaurant, SOS. This week we are shouting at a restaurant that I think we have featured in the past, but there's some updates about them. So there.
And that restaurant is Angelhearts Diner. Formerly located at 401 East State Street in Ithaca, New York, they've got a new location opening soon at 110 West Green Street in Ithaca at Press Bay, Ithaca. Watch their social media for updates on the opening.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that new opening. We only have been to Angelhearts once, and it was during the pandemic.
It was.
And so we couldn't actually dine in. We had to order and then pick up at the door, and we ate in the parking lot.
We did.
But
we
it
ate
was
in our car in the parking lot.
It was delicious, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with their new location. I know a lot of people were afraid that they were actually closing.
But it looks like that's not the case.
That is not the case. And until they open in their new location on West Green Street, they are doing pop-ups in places that I've seen.
Nice.
So, yeah. So like Sam said, watch their social media because there's all kinds of new stuff going on with them. You want to take a look at their menu?
Always.
Keeping in mind that this might change once they're in their new space.
Sure.
Now, all their sandwiches, like their breakfast sandwiches, are available on a biscuit or on an unglazed donut.
See, I would have to go with the biscuit.
Yeah.
I really don't think I could do the unglazed donut.
No, you want it glazed?
No, I don't want to. I don't want the donut.
I know.
I think that
it's just too much.
I think that would be too much
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they have some great classic sounding breakfast sandwiches with just egg patties, Violife cheddar, and Thrilling Foods bacon. And with those ingredients, it's going to be good. They have a Western one too,
Which looks really great.
Yeah, with grilled peppers and onions.
Yep. I also have my eye on the brunch wrap, which is a just egg patty, hash browns, Thrilling Foods bacon, Violife cheddar, and maple chipotle sauce in a folded tortilla. That to me sounds heavenly.
Yeah, when we were there, I did have their regular breakfast burrito, and it was superb.
That's right. You did have the breakfast burrito.
And it's a tofu scramble, peppers and onions, mushrooms, home fries, and Violife cheddar with that chipotle aioli, and it was really scrumptious.
And I had their classic breakfast sandwich, if I remember
Did
correctly.
you?
I think so.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago.
It was years ago.
It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. So great breakfast options.
Yes. And then they have some sandwiches and salads. They've got a Philly. They've got the Beats Me burger, which is a handmade beet burger patty served on a Kaiser bun with cashew cheese sauce, lettuce, tomato, and roasted garlic aioli. That's available as both a sandwich and a salad. When it comes to appetizers, they've got nuggets, so seitan nuggets. They've got buffalo bites, which are the nuggets in buffalo sauce. And they've got mozzarella sticks. They also have Philly fries. And I have to admit, these sound kind of awesome to me. So it's like a Philly cheesesteak, but instead of the bun, you're just getting all of the ingredients over fries.
Over French fries. I love a loaded fry. Yeah. And they use Philly seitan shreds.
Mushrooms, onions, and peppers smothered in cashew cheese sauce. That sounds pretty incredible to me.
That does sound pretty good. They have lots of sides that you can get: home fries, tofu scramble, Cajun gravy, biscuits, mozzarella sticks. Did you already say mozzarella
sticks? I did.
I thought you did, but it bears repeating. They have mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, it does bear repeating. I agree.
Yeah. It's a great menu of just
diner food.
Yeah, classic diner food in vegan form, and that's what we love. I don't know how many times we have said, we wish there was a diner around here where we could get a vegan breakfast.
Well, pretty much any time we're volunteering at our local shelter on Sunday mornings, when we're not out of town and we're here and we have an early morning going to help care for all of the kitties. Yeah. You know, especially in the fall and winter when we're driving back home, we pass a Greek diner and we know that there is nothing there for us to eat. But we kind of go, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if we had a vegan diner right here? Because after going to feed the kitties on a cold fall or winter morning, it would be really great to go somewhere for like
to feed ourselves.
Really good breakfast.
To feed ourselves.
Fortunately, Christine does love to make breakfast.
I do. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. It's one of my favorite meals to cook.
And I honestly don't know that we would get a better breakfast than what you make.
Probably not.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is nice to have somebody else make it.
It's true. It's true. I can't argue that.
Yeah. So if you have been to Angelhearts recently and you took a picture of your food, please email it to us. Let us know what you got and what you thought of it, and we'll enter you into our vegan dinner winner contest, and you can win a gift card to Angelhearts Diner. It's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout out.
It's listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's shout out goes to Brian Ludica. Brian recently subscribed to our weekly newsletter. Thanks for subscribing, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Please send us your t-shirt size and address so we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can text us using the link in our show notes. You can email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com or simply DM us on Instagram or Facebook.
And for the rest of you out there, if you want a listener shout out, please text, email, or DM us. Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can also always nominate someone else for a shout out.
I guess it's time to wrap this baby up. But before we go, I always like to remind you to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube. Share the show with a friend or a family member that might like what we do so we can reach more great people like you. And always, if you listen on iTunes, drop us a review on Apple Podcasts.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 203 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion. On the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We do. Bye-bye. Sorry we were late.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.